Have you ever noticed that the moment things finally get quiet, your body doesn't relax? Instead, your chest tightens, your thoughts speed up, you feel restless, uneasy, or suddenly anxious. And you might find yourself thinking, why can't I just rest? Why does slowing down feel so uncomfortable? Why do I feel guilty or on edge when I'm finally not doing anything? If that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this first. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and you're not failing at healing. Hi, I'm Janine Naus, your grief and trauma relief specialist, and today we're going to talk about something many trauma survivors experience but rarely have words for. Why stillness can feel unsafe after trauma, and why rest itself can trigger anxiety. Because for so many people who've lived in survival mode, being busy wasn't a preference, it was actually a protection. See, staying alert kept you safe, staying productive kept you ahead of danger. Staying in motion meant you didn't have to feel what once felt overwhelming. So when life finally slows down, when the noise quiets, when there's nothing demanding your attention, your nervous system doesn't interpret that as peace. It interprets it as something's wrong, stay alert. Now, before we go any further, I want to gently ask you not to answer out loud, but to just notice inside. What happens in your body when you try to rest? Do you feel tension, anxiety, restlessness, a need to get up and do something, anything? Just noticing that response is already a healing step. So, in today's healing step session, we're going to explore why rest can feel threatening to a trauma conditioned nervous system, how your body learned to equate stillness with danger, and how you can begin to feel safer slowing down without forcing yourself to relax or do it right. So let's take one grounding breath together and then gently step into this. When you've lived through trauma, especially chronic stress, emotional neglect, unpredictability, or environments where you had to stay alert, your nervous system learns a very specific rule. Stillness is not neutral. Stillness is risky. And for many trauma survivors, safety didn't come from rest. Safety came from watching, anticipating, preparing, and staying one step ahead. Now, your body learned that being on was what kept you protected, right? So, over time, your nervous system adapted beautifully. It became vigilant, responsive, and ready. But here's the part most people don't realize that survival adaptation doesn't automatically turn off when life becomes calmer. When things slow down, when there's nothing demanding your attention, when you finally sit still, your nervous system doesn't interpret that as peace. It interprets it as loss of control. And loss of control in the past often meant danger. This is why rest can trigger anxiety. And this is why slowing down can feel uncomfortable, agitating, or even scary. Now, this is why your body might urge you to check your phone, clean something, make a list, or do just one more thing. Not because you're avoiding rest, but because your nervous system is trying to keep you safe in the only way it knows how. Now, this isn't a flaw, and it isn't a failure. It's not that you don't know how to relax. It's that your body learned that being still once meant being vulnerable. And I want you to gently check in with yourself for a moment. See, when things slow down, what does your body do first? Does your mind race? Does your chest tighten? Do you feel an urge to move, distract, or even stay busy? There's no right answer here, just information. And awareness without judgment is the very first step toward healing. So, next, I want to share a personal moment when I realized that my discomfort with rest wasn't resistance. It was my nervous system still living by old rules. I want to share a personal moment with you because this is something I didn't understand about myself for a very long time. There was a time in my life when everything finally slowed down. The crisis had passed, the pressure eased. On the outside, things looked calm, and I remember thinking, good, I can finally rest. But the moment I tried to slow down, my body did the opposite. My chest felt tight, my thoughts started racing, and I felt uneasy, almost agitated, and I couldn't explain why. Instead of resting, I found myself looking for something to do, checking emails, reorganizing things, planning ahead, just simply staying busy without even realizing I was doing it. And I remember judging myself for it. Why can't I just sit still? Why can't I relax like other people? What's wrong with me? But here's what I eventually realized, and this may land for you too. I wasn't resisting rest. My nervous system didn't recognize stillness as safe. And for a long time, staying alert had been necessary. Being prepared mattered. Rest was a neutral, it was unfamiliar. So when life finally slowed down, my body reacted as if something was missing, as if a danger could show up at any moment. And there was nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. My body was still living by old survival rules, rules that once protected me. Now, if you ever felt anxious when things get quiet, or guilty when you're not being productive, or restless the moment you try to rest, I want you to know that reaction makes sense in the context of trauma. Now that we understand why rest can feel so uncomfortable, let's look at the specific trauma patterns that keep your body stuck in motion, even when it's exhausted. When rest feels uncomfortable, it's not random, and it's not because you're bad at slowing down. Most trauma survivors experience rest anxiety because one or more protective patterns form during survival. So let's name them gently. The first protective pattern is one, hypervigilance. If I relax, something bad might happen, is what you might think to yourself. Now, when your nervous system learns to stay alert to survive, stillness can feel like letting your guard down. Hypervigilance shows up as constantly scanning for problems, feeling uneasy when things are calm, difficulty sleeping, or truly relaxing, needing background noise or stimulation, feeling startled when interrupted at rest. So your body learned staying alert keeps me safe. So when you slow down, your nervous system reacts as if you're doing something dangerous. Now, the second protective pattern is two, overfunctioning. If I keep doing, I don't have to feel, is probably what you're thinking. So, for many survivors, staying busy became a way to avoid overwhelming emotions. Overfunctioning looks like always finding something productive to do, having difficulty sitting without distraction, guilt when resting, tying worth to your productivity, feeling anxious when there's nothing to manage. So your nervous system learned movement keeps me ahead of my pain. So rest doesn't feel peaceful, it feels exposed. And the third protective pattern is internalized pressure. And you might think to yourself, I don't deserve to stop. See, this pattern forms when rest was never modeled, allowed, or safe. And it often sounds like I should be doing more. I haven't earned rest yet. Other people need me. Stopping feels selfish. This isn't a personality trait, it's a learned survival belief. And your body learned rest puts me at risk of judgment, loss, or disapproval. Now, if you recognize yourself in any of these patterns, just pause with me for a moment. None of them mean you're failing. They just simply mean you adapted. They mean your body learned how to survive in environments where rest wasn't safe. Now, I invite you to quietly notice which pattern feels most familiar: hypervigilance, overfunctioning, or internalized pressure. Now, you don't need to change it right now. Awareness alone begins to soften its grip. Now that we've named why rest feels unsafe, I want to guide you through a very gentle practice, something that helps your body experience stillness in a way that feels tolerable, not overwhelming. Now that we've talked about why rest can feel uncomfortable, I want to share a gentle practice you can try, not to make yourself relax, but to help your body slowly learn that stillness doesn't equal danger. This is not about meditation. It's not about calming down. And it's definitely not about doing it right. It's about building tolerance for rest in very small, respectful ways. Now, I call this micro rest. See, micro rest means allowing just a few seconds of stillness, not minutes, and noticing what happens without forcing anything to change. So let's try it together now. And remember, everything here is optional. If it feels okay, let your feet connect with the floor. Notice the support beneath you. You don't need to close your eyes. Take one slow breath in and then let it go naturally. Now, instead of trying to relax, just simply ask your body this question: What would feel like a safe pause right now? 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or maybe just one breath. And then choose the smallest option that feels tolerable. And as you pause, I want you to notice, do you feel tension, restlessness, a desire to move or distract? There's no need to stop any of that. Just simply notice it. Now, if your body wants to move, that's okay. If your thoughts get louder, that's okay. If you feel nothing at all, that's okay too. See, micro rest isn't about peace, it's about permission. Permission for your nervous system to experience stillness without threat. Even 5 seconds of rest tells your body, I'm listening. I'm not forcing you. I'm letting safety grow slowly. And that's how healing actually happens, not through pushing, but through trust. Next, I want to give you a journaling prompt you can take with you. It's something that helps you understand what your body is protecting you from when rest feels hard. Now, you can return to this journaling prompt later, maybe tonight or maybe sometime this week when you have a quiet moment. Now, there's no rush with this, and there's no expectation to figure it all out. This is about curiosity, not conclusions. So here's the prompt, and I'll say it twice so you can write it down. When I try to slow down or rest, what does my body fear might happen? Now I'll repeat that again. When I try to slow down or rest, what does my body fear might happen? Now, you're not looking for a logical answer here. You're listening for sensations, emotions, or memories that surface. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's nothing at all. And that's all okay too. So often, what shows up isn't about the present moment, it's about something your body learned a long time ago. If the answer feels unclear or uncomfortable, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just simply means you're listening. And listening is how trust begins. And as we come toward the close of today's session, I want to share how you can explore this more personally with guidance, safety, and support, if that feels right for you. If today's session is resonating with you, and if you're realizing that calm has felt uncomfortable or unsafe for a long time, I want you to know something important. You're not alone in this, and it doesn't mean you're failing at healing. It means your body is asking for support, safety, and understanding. And that's exactly why I offered the Healing Clarity session. It's a free 30-minute heart-centered conversation, and it's designed to meet you right where you are. During this private session, we gently move through 3 steps. Now, in the first step, we identify one area of your life where rest, stillness, or slowing down feels uncomfortable or unsafe. And in step 2, we uncover. So we uncover what your nervous system might still be holding on to, a belief, a memory, or a protective pattern formed long ago. And then in the third step, we discover. And then together, we discover one gentle, practical next step that helps your body begin to feel safer and peace without forcing rest or pushing yourself past your limits. Now, this is not a pressured call. It's not a sales pitch. There's nothing you have to decide or commit to. It's simply a space for clarity, reflection, and support, so you can understand what's really happening beneath the surface and take your next step forward with care and confidence. And you can schedule your free healing clarity session using the link below. Now, healing doesn't begin with giant leaps. It begins one small, courageous yes. And this call might be yours. Now, before we close today's session, I want to leave you with something important, something to carry with you as you move through the rest of your week. Healing doesn't always feel peaceful at first, and sometimes calm feels uncomfortable. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your body is still learning that peace can exist without danger. So if you're slowing down brings up anxiety, if rest feels unfamiliar, if stillness feels unsettling, that's not a setback. It's a sign that your nervous system is expanding into something new. And each time you pause, even briefly, each time you breathe, each time you allow yourself to rest without pushing, you're teaching your body that safety can exist in quiet moments too. Now, peace doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you're finally safe enough to stop racing for what's next. If you're watching this as a replay on Facebook or Instagram, maybe LinkedIn or YouTube, I want you to know you can always find my full healing step sessions on my YouTube channel, where everything is easy to access in one place. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe so you can never miss a session. And we walk this healing journey together, one gentle step at a time. And if today's topic resonated with you, I especially recommend watching this session next. Too much or not enough, healing the fear of being yourself after trauma. Now, it explores how trauma shapes our sense of identity and self-expression, and why being fully yourself can feel just as unsafe as slowing down. Now, you'll see it linked right here. I want to thank you for being here today, and thank you for listening to your body, and thank you for honoring your healing at your own pace. Now, remember, your healing doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in the quiet moments when you choose to listen, soften, and trust that peace is no longer a threat. It's a place you're learning how to come home to. Have a great day. Thank you.